Britain's Group N Championship had a new name, the National Saloon Car Cup. It would be dominated by the Ford Escort Cosworths. Further down the field, however, there were plenty of interesting cars. Class D, the 1600cc class, was dominated by the Honda Civic VTEC. The 2-litre class had new-shape Astras and Rover 220 GTIs involved, driven by Ray Arms and Nick Carr. Mike Jordan had a new-shape Astra, but not for long. The ex-Porsche champion damaged it very badly at this, the opening round at a wet Silverstone in March. He understeered his way through the gravel trap into the tyres. Jordan wouldn't be seen again in this car all year. Class A, the over 3-litre class, was dominated by the Escort Cosworths, and Peter Clark won here at Silverstone. At Alton Park on Easter Monday, however, Australian Charlie Cox was showing fine style. The ex-Porsche racer took the lead and then took victory, despite intense pressure from Clark. Cox took his first win of the year, and it was to be a very successful season for him. A damp Donington for the first 1-hour, 2-driver race of the season, and David Yates, partnered by Graham "Skid" Scarborough, took over the lead at the chicane. The circuit was wet but drying, tyres were going off, and John Gowing at the wheel of Tom Reeves' Class B 2.3-litre BMW M3 had a big spin at the old hairpin. Off he went, onto the grass, although the car would be able to rejoin. Mid-race, the pit stops for a driver change. Ian Flux took over Peter Clark's Escort and went back into the race. Sadly though, the John Gowing BMW would roll out of the race, owner Tom Reeve at the wheel of it. The driver perfectly okay, the car out for good. Kurt Luby in Frank Greenway's Sapphire was up to second place until the brakes failed and he went off in a big way. Thankfully no damage to the car, but it left David Yates and Graham Scarborough as unopposed winners of this, the first endurance race of the season. Scarborough at the wheel, Yates nervous in the pit lane, but they took victory nonetheless. Yates was a relieved man. He led again at his home circuit of Alton Park in June, but that man Charlie Cox was right on his tail. Teddy Lanfranchi with his Astra was leading the championship overall, chased hard by James Thompson, while the Rovers of Ray Arms and Nick Carr were getting quicker race by race, despite moments like this. Carr missed everybody, but only just, and Sean Andrews was leading the baby class with his 1300cc Suzuki Swift. Guy Povey demolished his old-shape BMW M3. He'd have a new one within a month. Charlie Cox lapped the Class C 2-litre cars and took victory here in Cheshire after a big accident in testing that had put him in hospital. Povey's new-shape BMW M3 would arrive at the Wilhar 24 Hours, a gruelling event held at Snetterton in Norfolk every July. This was the 14th Wilhar, and this year, with no Escort Cosworths entered, the Class B cars were leading the race, as a nervous Lanfranchi still led the championship. He was driving with Vaughan Richmond in an old-shape Astra, and round the clock the mechanics busily worked in the pits, as Andy Middlehurst's Nissan had to retire. The venerable Mercedes 190 of Alistair Davidson had a horrid race, problems all the way round the clock delaying it, and it wouldn't be classified as a finisher. For the first time in the event's history, there was an all-girls squad, Claire Redgrave heading a team of 3 drivers in a Honda Civic VTEC. The Civics were reliable and quick, and challenging for overall honours during the night. Charlie Cox, without his Escort Cosworth, was racing Mike Jordan's old-shape BMW M3, and with the retirement of Guy Povey's new-shape M3, would find himself not just the leader, but also the winner come 3 o'clock on the Sunday afternoon. The ebullient Australian, along with Mike Burt, Mike Jordan and John Morrison, would win the 24-hour race.